Hey YouTube friends, thanks for stopping by the channel. Today I am going to take you through mountain biking in Northwest North Carolina. We've been here a couple weeks exploring the region. There's some great mountain biking. Remember, I always tell you my stories and my perspective as a beginner mountain biker. I'm going to do a detailed trail review, kind of give you an overview of the lay of the land. Northwest North Carolina has some amazing mountain biking opportunities, from private bike parks where you can zoom down the trails to beautiful state forests. I'm going to take you through all of those. So let's get into it. All right, so I have kind of broken down mountain biking Northwest North Carolina into three kind of distinct areas. One is Pisgah, which is super duper hard. I'm not even gonna go there. I think I've been told it's way too hard for a beginner, and that wasn't just my mountain biking coach that said that. I've talked to multiple people and they all sort of have that review. So my mountain biking reviews are gonna focus on the Brevard area, which has a couple of private parks, as well as DuPont State Forest, and then Tsali. So let's get into it. So my first visit was to Ride Kanuga. Ride Kanuga was amazing. So we made it into the mountains of Northwest North Carolina. Blah, 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 I can never say that. Today we're at Ride Kanuga, which you can see behind me. It's part of the Lone Pass. They have a really cool pro shop that's well equipped and well geared. I'm in the parking lot right now. The trails are actually across the street, but you can see they have a nice bike wash station in front of me, restrooms, and you can see they have a very large parking area. They have a sitting area and the pro shop. So we can't wait to go ride the trails. I'm super stoked. It looks really cool. The trails have about 500 feet of ascent. There are greens, blues, and blacks. So you have ultimate challenges or a wide breadth of challenges, and I'm looking forward to going to ride. So let's go hit it. Let's go ride. So we are at Ride Kanuga. We are doing the ascent. 514 feet. The guy at the desk says a mile. My GPS says 1.8 miles from the parking lot total ascent. We've already done it once. It's got some nice spots on it. It's got one little downhill section that's a lot of fun. But it's nice and covered. We've already seen Mr. Turtle. Say hi to Mr. Turtle. And we saw a couple deer. So that's nice, right? But this kind of gives you a feel. You've got one road crossing, which is coming up, but this gives you a feel for the ascent. So we're at the top of Ride Kanuga. It's pretty awesome. The ride up was about 500 feet of ascent over, they say a mile, but my GPS logged 1.8 miles from the parking lot. So maybe I took a wrong turn or something, but it's really pretty up here. All the trails are well labeled. They got some bike pumps up here, tools for you. And you can see the trails are labeled pretty clearly with really good descriptions on each one. And if you look through the woods, you can see a breach in the mountains that give you a absolutely beautiful view. All right, so I'm going to take you down Roto Ruckus, which is the first intermediate run. So I did the green run, then I did Roto Ruckus, and then I did GNCC, and that's where my ability stopped. So I'm going to roll the play as I talk about Ride Kanuga so you can kind of see the downhill. Roto Ruckus is my favorite run. GNCC had some terrain features that made it a little difficult for me. I was able to do it, but it was pushing the edge of my ability. There were some decent jumps that I had to do and some rocks and features like that. They were fairly steep and fairly real for a intermediate mountain biker slash beginner, right? And so Roto Ruckus was a lot of fun. The banks and berms were really nice. They were really well groomed, really well maintained. I thought Ride Kanuga was great. I loved the culture there. Everybody was so friendly. All the bike people I met, all the fellow, bikers I met were super friendly, super nice, great to talk to, were a wealth of knowledge. The folks working there were fantastic. I think Ride Kanuga is great. I would highly recommend spending the $30 to go there. I'm at DuPont State Park getting ready to go mountain bike. It is in North Carolina. It's highly recommended by a number of people as a great mountain biking destination with some nice views. beautiful waterfalls, etc., etc. The trail I'm choosing to ride, or the route I'm choosing to ride, is about 13 miles. We'll see how it goes. And I'm looking forward to it. I took the route from somebody else, and I'll link to their website on my website and in the description if it turns out to be a good ride, to give them credit for their great work, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. It's 7:40 in the morning. It's on a Friday. The parking lot is fairly empty, but there's already some cars here. It's a large parking lot, and it is a bit of a dreary day in terms of fog, but that fog is going to burn off, and it's going to be a wonderful day. We're at DuPont State Park. We're not even a mile in. I'm a little breathless already because I hadn't a sense. But this gives you a feel for the trail. Really pretty. Wooded, tree-lined, absolutely beautiful. But definitely, we are definitely ascending. There is no doubt about that. All right, ready? Woo! Should have shifted there. Didn't do it. Would have carried more momentum in. Lean forward, lean forward, lean forward. All right, there we go. But you see how beautiful wooded this trail is, which is awesome. So one nice thing about this trail is that you have ascents followed by kind of nice flowy descents. So I just have a little bit of a break and frankly have a little fun, but then you come back up to your ascent. But that allows you to gain a little bit of momentum, which is nice. It's not all of them, but it's some of them, which sure makes life a little bit better. I'm about a third of the way through my ride in DuPont State Forest. As you can see behind me, there's a beautiful river. The scenery is amazing. I'm loving that. I'm also loving the fact that you have descents after your ascents, meaning it's not just descend, descend, descend like some of the trails I've already ridden. You get a little reward and a little break for your hard work. And I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. Because you get a little flowy section and it feels good and it feels nice and you cool down, because I am drenched in sweat right now because some of the ascents are pretty hard. I had to walk at a couple points, actually no, 1 point so far, because I didn't have enough momentum. I think if I had enough momentum I would have gotten it, but you have some rocky ascents and definitely need to have good traction and good momentum going into them. But so far the ride is great. I'm loving the forest, I'm loving the scenery. I'll just take you for a look. We're on a road right now. That's why I stopped going to the next trail. But you can see it's just a lovely forest on a beautiful day. It was not predicted to be a beautiful day, so I think we're gonna have a lot of this to ourselves. I've seen some other riders, so it is definitely busier than other places I've been, but I'm liking it. I see why people like it. What did I think of the mountain biking in DuPont State Forest? Before I tell you that, we'll interrupt this mountain biking video for a quick aside. If you come to DuPont State Park to do some mountain biking, make sure you make time for other things too. Behind me is the Triple Falls. It is beautiful. The hiking here is gorgeous. It's one of the most famous hikes in the park. But if you look, you literally get 3 waterfalls in one. It is absolutely gorgeous. Well, I guess if one word could come, it was amazing. I'm putting up one of my favorite rides. I love this ride. I found it on Trail Forks. You can see the tile, you can download it. I also got the inspiration from Two Wheel Wanderer. Her name is Becky, I believe. She has a great blog. I've really enjoyed reading her stuff. She gives a lot of useful information, so I highly suggest you check that out. But the one thing I probably, if I was gonna say something bad about the ride, it's this. There was a lot of gravel and a lot of roads that you crossed or were on briefly. And I mean, it's not a big deal because the way the ride's put together really makes that totally worth it. For what I'm showing you now, which is these fast, flowy descents. The best part of the ride was the end on Ridgeline. Ridgeline is this beautifully groomed, well-maintained, super flowy downhill. And after riding, you know, almost, I think the whole ride's about 13 miles. The last mile, mile and a half is Ridgeline. And it is fantastic. It is well maintained. You have, for intermediate mountain biker, what I loved about Ridgeline was you had jumps that were just the right size. They weren't too hard, they weren't too easy. You felt a sense of accomplishment, but you weren't scared. The berms were nice, they were well placed. The flow lines were obvious for me because I'm still learning how to pick my lines. And so I loved DuPont State Forest. And I would definitely make sure to include this in your plans. All right, let's go to our next location. All right, today I'm at Ride Creek. Ride Creek is actually brought to us by the same people that brought us Ride Kanuga. I'm super stoked. There's a shuttle-only bike park. It is about 30 minutes away from where I'm staying, so in that same general vicinity, the Brabant area. It has a fully equipped pro shop. It has beginner, intermediate, and advanced trails, so plenty of riding. I have a feeling I will be seeing the beginner trails, possibly an intermediate, but I just wanted to show you guys at the top, or sorry, at the shuttle pickup, you have a pro shop, you have a nice waiting area. There are actually bike washes over there. But then what is really super cool is you have this kind of picnic area where you have a lovely place to have a picnic, view this pretty lake, and it's just super quaint. Ride Creek is on the Loan Pass. It's usually, I think, $55 a day, but with a Loan Pass, you get 2 days for free. So we're gonna ride today, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Well, I just finished my rides at Ride Creek, and I gotta tell you, it was great, but oh my God, was it humbling. I'm gonna start showing you a video of one of my rides while we talk, so that's more interesting than just seeing me. So here's the deal with Ride Creek. There is one beginner trail. It is super fast, it has a lot of banks, it has some jumps, it is not easy. And I did it several times before I felt comfortable on it, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go up to a blue. I did that, and I fell once on the beginner trail, by the way. I then fell 5 or 6 times on the blue trail. Lost count, honestly. And I had my worst fall, which is I went over the front of the handlebars, twisted up the handlebars, so much so that I had to take the bike to the bike mechanic on staff. And so glad to have a bike mechanic on site, because I would have been done for the day had that not happened. I would have had to go somewhere to get my bike fixed. But because they had a bike mechanic on staff, I was able to get the bike repaired. But as you can see from the green I'm showing you, it's a beautiful green, but it is challenging. And I talked to several fellow riders who were out there with me, and they all agree. They're like, Ride Creek is definitely challenging. You know, you're here as a beginner, that's impressive, blah, 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 until I basically ate crap multiple times and was on my butt like 6 times in a row. And one, I don't even know what happened to me. I just flew over the handlebars, twisted everything up, and I was done. So would I recommend Ride Creek? Yes, if you have more expert knowledge than I have. It was probably an amazing place for advanced riders and even like strong intermediates. It probably is not the place for a beginner and a novice. That having been said, everybody here is super nice and super supportive, and nobody's laughing at me when I told them I kept ending up on my butt. But you know what happens? And another guy broke his foot while I was here, and there weren't that many riders. So that kind of tells you it is a difficult park. The shuttles are very efficient. They run about every 10 minutes, maybe even less. And as I said, everybody's super nice. So I'm not ditching Ride Creek, don't get me wrong. I think it's a great place. I just know for me, with my limited abilities, that's probably something I'll enjoy a lot a year from now. All right, let's go to our next place. So for the last 4 days, I've been at the Tsali Recreation District riding the Tsali, and I gotta tell you, it is great. It is a great beginner mountain biking destination / intermediate mountain biking destination. The trails are very gentle and forgiving. Unlike Pisgah, that's known to be just gnarly, the Tsali is completely the opposite. Flowy, fairly easy, not huge elevation gains. The climbs are great, but they're not brutal. There's not a lot of technical features on the trails, not a lot of rocks, not a lot of tree root systems, etc. to navigate. So they're wonderful. And in some of the rides, you get a great view. So to break down the Tsali, there are actually 4 trails. They're often ridden as pairs of 2 and 2. So Thompson and Moose are often ridden together, and Left and Right Loop are often ridden together. If you ride them together, each one's about 20 miles. I actually decide not to do that for weather-related reasons. As you can probably hear behind me, it's raining. It's been raining or thunderstorming now the entire time I've been here. And so I've been trying to get on and off mountain fairly quickly when I had gaps in the weather. So the Tsali, if you can ride it in as little as 2 days or as much as 4. You cannot ride a combination of Left Loop and Thompson, for example, because it's split between equestrians and mountain bikers. So, for example, if Thompson and Moose are open to mountain bikers as close to equestrian, and the next day it'll be vice versa. It'll be open to equestrian, close to mountain bikers. So the minimum if you want to ride all 4 rides is 2 days. I'm gonna take you on the rides with me while we keep talking. So the first ride I did was Moose Loop, and that was actually been my favorite, absolute favorite, because I love the overview, and the ride itself is gentle. You've got a few flowy sections, which was great, but the climb was fairly gentle. It didn't feel like I was just dying, right? There were no huge sections where I wanted to just, you know, or where I was running so out of breath that I had to stop. But the cool thing about Moose is the overlook. Now, I think that my drone usage was legal. I filed an FAA flight plan, so it couldn't see anything that said illegal. So I went ahead and launched a drone. Plus, honestly, I'm the only one. There's not a lot of people here. There's like 5 people in the campground total. So check out this drone footage. This is the view from the Moose overlook. And I'm not gonna overdo it, but that lake mountain view to me is just absolutely gorgeous. You do get a little bit of that view from left loop, I believe, but not as good as Moose. Moose to me was my favorite ride. Now locally, I'm gonna take you on the loops next. Locally, the left and right loop are the ones that most mountain bikers talk about. That seems to be everybody's favorite. I personally favor the Moose, and I think probably it's their favorite because you get a few more flowy sections and you get a few more like downhill challenges that give you that, you know, adrenaline-seeking thrill. I'm kind of finding that what I like is actually not that. I like that in a bike park in a more controlled environment so far. Maybe that will change, but I'm going to take you, this is left loop, I believe. It's one of the loops. And you kind of get the flavor, right? You still get some nice lake views. You get some foresty views. That's kind of the general flavor of Tsali. There's a lot of forest, a lot of lake. And I think you come here to ride it for the views and for that experience as opposed to the downhill thrill. I think there is a little bit of the downhill thrill, but it's not the point of the rides. So would I recommend it? Absolutely, especially for beginners or intermediates, because you'll get that mountain biking sensation, but you will always feel in control. You will not feel in danger. You will not feel like you bit off more than you can chew, which, you know, can't always say that for some of the rides I've done, thinking Ride Rock Creek, still like Ride Rock Creek wearing their hat. But I definitely bit off more than I could chew there. So that's the Tsali. What did I think about mountain biking in North Carolina? I absolutely loved it. Let me show you some more beautiful footage I got while we talk about this, because it's much more fun to look at that. All right, so mountain biking North Carolina, what made it so special? First, I absolutely enjoyed the diversity of terrain. You had beautiful national forests and state parks coupled with bike parks that were awesome that you could rip down or were specifically designed for mountain biking. So that was awesome. To the opportunity, right, to ride public land or private land and to sort of pick your and choose your own adventure, because you could ride a shuttle park or you could go ride a nice fast flowy trail. 3, I thought the beginner areas like Tsali were very beginner friendly. I felt very safe. The same with DuPont. I thought DuPont was incredibly friendly, and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. 4, I love the culture. I thought everybody was super nice, and it was great to be able to meet a bunch of fellow bikers. I got some lessons in with some people that had really good resumes as mountain bikers, so that was really fun. So overall, I think North Carolina is an awesome place to go. If you want to have sort of fast and technical, go hit Ride Kanuga and Ride Rock Creek. Those bike parks specifically built for mountain bikers. If you want flowy, DuPont State Forest right by there, or the Tsali. And if you're a much better mountain biker than me and are ready for your advance, then go to Pisgah and enjoy that. You could spend weeks in North Carolina enjoying the bike parks, enjoying the mountain biking. I would say that you will not get bored. All right, as always, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did it, please hit that like, subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop us a comment. Feel free to reach out with any questions you have. I'm always happy to help you guys learn from the mistakes I made and plan an amazing experience. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Take care.